Hey everyone, this is Mommy of Two, Wife of One, coming at you for another week of lessons and reflections and just wonderful, guidance that I have to offer. You want to say hi again? Okay. Wave. She's watching Mickey Mouse, so sorry she doesn't, she's not giving me her undivided attention right now. Okay, go watch Mickey, okay? So I actually recorded this video earlier today, and it was 12 minutes long, and it was great. I was excited about it. Then I played it back, and there was no volume at all, which obviously sucks. So I have to record all over again. So hopefully I remember what I said, and hopefully I can still be impassioned like I was in the very first video. This week I actually want to kind of do a review of some things I learned from a movie I watched on Lifetime Saturday night. Well, first of all, I hope you all had a great Mother's Day. I hope it wasn't too painful for some, and I hope it wasn't drama filled for others. And I hope, that it was just pleasant and it was nice. But in honor of Mother's Day on Saturday night, they showed this movie on Lifetime that was all about Kevin Durant's mom, named Wanda. She was a single mom, and some of you may remember Kevin Durant made, hopefully you all know who he is. He's a basketball player with the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's from the Washington, D.C. area. But he was named MVP a while ago, and at the end, he thanked all the people that brought him there, obviously, that helped him to get there. But he gave a special shout out to his mom, who he called the real MVP, just for the sacrifices that she made for him and his brother. And how they didn't have much, but they always had each other, and she always had his back and was his number one fan. And so they did a movie about her life, which is actually a really good movie. And if you haven't seen it, I'm sure Lifetime will replay it, over and over and over again, because that's kind of what they're known for. And it's called The Real MVP. But there were some lessons that I learned that I was reminded of watching the movie, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. We have some notes and everything. Pay no attention to my handwriting, because it's not that great. You want to learn the lessons too? Okay, lesson one. Can you say one? Okay, one. Lesson one is to help your children achieve their goals. In the movie, on her refrigerator, she had a whiteboard, and her kids had to write down what their dreams and their goals were in life. Going to college, going to NBA, being a huge star, being rich, or whatever it is. Whatever their goals are, and with her as well, she made them and herself write it down on the whiteboard, and she worked hard to help them to achieve their dreams. And she read up on the mechanics of basketball. She never missed a game. She, helped them run drills. She had them running up and down the hill so they could increase their speed, and just everything that she could think of to help them achieve their ultimate goal. And I actually have a friend of mine on Instagram. I'm not gonna shout her out because I don't know if she wants me to. But her son came to her and said that he wanted to be a dancer. And so she did what she had to do as a mom, and she's a single mom as well. But she, looked for places where you can learn how to dance. She drove him to all the competitions, and she's just extremely proud of him. And he's doing what he loves because his mother believes in his dreams, and she helped him to achieve those dreams. No matter how far fetched these dreams may seem, it is up to us to help our children to achieve them by any means possible. The next lesson, can you, Ladybug, can you say two? She kind of said two. So the second lesson is to not be afraid to ask for help. Now, this is an issue for me, and I'm not even a single mom, but I imagine that a single mom is probably a little more difficult. But when you're a mom in general, a lot of the parenting falls in your lap. And so it's just kind of the way it happens. But we are not, as much as we like to believe we're superwomen, I think we have our days where we have superwoman tendencies. But overall, we're not superwomen. We're not God. We can't do everything and be everything to everybody all the time. That's just not how real life works. And so just don't be afraid to ask for help, whether it's help with babysitting, help with picking your children up to school, help with, buying them some tennis shoes because they've outgrown theirs. Whatever it is, don't be afraid to reach out to people in your circle and ask them for help. The third lesson is that breaking down is not a sign of weakness. Being a mother is very overwhelming, whether you're a single mother or you're married or in a relationship. It's just an overwhelming responsibility knowing that you are in charge of this person, and knowing that how this person turns out as a child, as an adult, as a parent themselves is a reflection of how they were parented by you. And maybe it's just me that kind of looks at life that way, but I always think that whatever kind of grandparents my children are going to be at some point, you know, the kind of parents and grandparents are going to be is a reflection of how I am as a parent to them now. And they're only 7 and 1. But in my head, all the decisions I'm making for them now are shaping them to be a certain kind of child. And it's a great responsibility, and it's, again, it's overwhelming. And I think that when you look at it in that way, you can become very overwhelmed with everything that's on your plate. Because we are balancing motherhood. Some of us are balancing marriage. You're balancing your other family, your other friends. You're balancing your job. You're balancing church. You're balancing a lot of things all at once. And it is difficult sometimes to not go crazy. And sometimes you need that moment where you lock yourself in your bathroom or in your car and you have a good cry or a good scream. It's not a sign of weakness. If you need that outlet to get rid of all of that anxiety, all of that angst, you just need to let go. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it unless, excuse me, unless you have that breakdown as part of your overall mental state for a long period of time. If you have that breakdown and that's your time to let go and then you move on to something else, that's one thing. But if you have that breakdown and you stay in that state of despair and that state of, you know, not knowing what to do, then that's when you get dangerous. But allow yourself to at least have that moment and then move on and keep trucking and do what you need to do. The fourth lesson I learned is that you need to have a life outside of your children. There are a lot of moms who are extremely guilty of this, and not saying that, you know, you don't love your kids, and it's great that you love your kids and that you want to be there for them and do things with them. That's awesome and amazing. But you were not born a mother. You have other things that you did before you became a mom. Get back to some of those things. Have a hobby, have a reading group, have some kind of women's group. You know, just belong or be a part of something else that's not related to your children. Because at some point, your children are going to get older. They're going to get out of the house and they're going, at some point your children are going to leave the nest. They're going to go to college, or they're going to have their own lives and have their own families, and you don't want to be stuck in your house all alone with nothing to do and basically wondering what to do with your life. And there's a scene in the movie where her kids are, you know, having great success in their careers, and she's in this big house by herself, and she does not know what to do with herself, and she's crying all the time, and she's extremely lonely. That's because she didn't have anything set up to where she had a life outside of her kids. And I know sometimes it's difficult to create something outside of your kids, but it's so crucial and essential for your own sanity to have that in place. The fifth lesson is don't lose sight of your own goals. Like I said before, on the refrigerator, she had her children write down their goals, but she wrote down her goals as well. But because she was so consumed with helping them with theirs, her goals took a back seat. And she eventually achieved them because she didn't lose sight of them. And her children are the ones who told her, like, look, we know that you've done all this work for us, but we're fine. We're grown up. We're taking care of ourselves. We don't want you to lose sight of what you set out to do for yourself. So we're forcing you to go back out there and do what you want to do because we're good. You have instilled wonderful lessons in us, and you know we're strong, and we know what we want, and we know what we need to do. So now it's your turn to do what you need to do. So even if you have your goals pushed to the back burner for, you know, years or decades, however long it is, sometimes that's necessary when you have kids, and I understand that, but just don't completely lose sight of it. Always work towards that goal, even if it's just little increments at a time. And the last lesson is to always have a plan. I am the queen of overplanning. I am the queen of to-do lists, and my cousin actually calls me her anal angel because I am extremely anal with organizing things and just having things done just so, and not waiting to the last minute and things starting on time. Like, I'm a stickler for all of that. So no matter what you have going on in your life, you need to have a plan. In the beginning of the movie, she and her kids were living with her mom, and she was like, I have to figure out a way to get me and my boys out of this house. I want us to have our own house. I want to kind of have control over, you know, what happens, and I don't want to be under anybody else's control and somebody else's, you know, jurisdiction. So she came up with a plan for how much money she needed to save, how she was going to get this money, and what month or year or whatever that she planned to actually be in her own spot. And she stuck to it. She got her and her boys in that apartment, and she admitted that there was no furniture there when they first got there. They couldn't afford the furniture, but what they did have was each other, and her children had a roof over their head. And she was able to have them in this environment where they were safe and they were protected. And it's just very important that, again, no matter what you decide to do, that you have a plan. If you have a plan in place, and you are sticking to that plan, you're being consistent in doing what you need to get your goal accomplished, your children see that. And that's a trait that they are going to hold on to for the rest of their lives. You can help them all you want to with their goals and dreams and everything while they're young and, before they leave for college or wherever they go. But once they become adults of their own and have their own families, they're going to remember, okay, well, mom used to write down things that she needed to do. She used to write her to-do list. She used to say, okay, today I'm going to accomplish these 20 things. Let me cross them out while I accomplish them. Tomorrow's going to be another 20 things, and tomorrow's going to be another 20 things. But she got everything accomplished, and that's how she kept us all in line. Your children are going to remember that, and they're going to put that in the